We're in 2023, and I'm gonna lay out the 4 reasons why it's an absolute great time to be a chiropractor. I'm Dr. Dan. I'm the chiropractic advocate. I get fired up about chiropractic and helping chiropractors just like you communicate the full scope of benefits chiropractic has to offer. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it is a great time to be in this profession. I can tell you this, to start off, I have had the book thrown at, is that gonna work? That's fine. Had the book thrown at me for this. And what I mean by that is I've been on many stages talking about how it's a great time to be a chiropractor in the last 5 years. It's greater today than it was last week, and it'll be greater next week, and I'm gonna explain why. But I've had other leaders in the profession come up after me and say, all that garbage that doctor went over earlier saying it's a great time, and they go doom and gloom. Here's why it's not. Here's the challenges. Here's all the odds stacked against you. Listen, Henry Ford said, whether you think you're right or you're wrong, you're right. Also, let me start off by saying some will, some won't, so why not? You've heard that. Why not have more people adopt this? Why not give them a reason to understand the benefits and why chiropractic is as alive and as needed today than ever before? But I have to point out a couple things. We live in a country that has some freedoms. One of them is the right to an opinion and is the right to free speech. So while we sit here today in 2023, that's still a right that you can say things that you want to say. There's a freedom to say and give your opinion. Well, I got my opinion and I'm going to back it up the best way I can. Some of you will resonate, some of you won't, so why not? I'm going to go at you. I'm going to go at you here. The freedoms of this country was not won on hugs and handshakes. It was on bloodshed and battles because it earned us the right to be able to speak our truth. I remember taking my girls about 3 years ago. I was doing a speaking event in Southern Pennsylvania, and we flew into Baltimore, and my wife told me, hey, take the girls to this Fort McHenry. I fought it, said, we can get by without it. We'll just maybe hit up a golf course or something on our way there. Lo and behold, I decided to take them to the Fort McHenry, and as things usually go, I was so fascinated. It's where Francis Scott Key penned the national anthem. It's this British battle that went on. And it was so fascinating to me as they raised the flag and we get to see out where it all went down, right out there in the field and then the body of water. And I come away and I just can't help but think, man, this country was founded on some amazing principles. And the guys that fought for these principles, it's a big deal. Now, why does this have to do with being a great time to be a chiropractor? Well, people have a right to their opinion. How do you view marriage? Is it between a man or a woman? How do you view the right to life and feelings about abortion? How do you feel about gender and critical race theory, right? Those are opinions that some people have, and I agree they are promulgated at alarming rates in this country. The bottom line is there's a worldview that you end up having that gives you the lens as to how you see everything. And people give their opinions on which way you should swing or what you should think. I'm for it all. And then you get to be the decision maker based on the principles and the worldview you live by. So I know what you're thinking, Dr. Dan, I thought we were talking about chiropractic and how it's a great time to be a chiropractor. Listen, we are. But I'm here to say, it just boggles my mind how people will defend these drug companies. I mean, these drug companies control the media. Why am I on a soapbox here? Because at the end of the day, you have to choose what you believe and why you believe it. I'm going to point out 4 things that I believe make chiropractic such a relevant, critical, necessary thing. Number 1 is the digital revolution. We are living in an age that has never been seen before. Kenneth Hansraw, a spinal surgeon, did a study in 2014 that showed that postural deviations literally increase the degenerative cascade within the spine. But not only that is, the fascinating part of that study showed that having posture that deviates, head goes forward, doubles, triples, quadruples the stress in the neck at alarming rates. We're seeing kids, spines younger than ever, degenerating. Hormones of confidence go down and hormones of stress increase. In fact, hormones such as serotonin, fulfillment, joy, happiness went down as posture deviation increased. So he found out that when you're looking down at a phone, which on average, the human adult is 700 to 1,400 hours a year spent down looking at their phone. Some high schoolers were found to be spending 5,000 or more hours per year looking at their phone. What happens? Their entire physiology takes on that posture. And he showed the hormones that are directly associated, growth hormone, testosterone, cortisol, with these posture deficits. Number 2, sitting is the new smoking. 2011 research came out, studied 800,000 people, those who sat the most versus those who sat the least. 112% increase in diabetes, 147% increase in cardiovascular events, 90% increase in all-cause mortality. Why? Because when you sit, you increase insulin resistance, you decrease circulation, you decrease the body's ability to break down fats, you lower the lipoprotein lipase, which breaks down fats, and then you increase this aberrant afferent input into the brain, which is a direct result of subluxation degeneration. This is the perfect storm for structure and function abnormalities, and you as a chiropractor directly influence this like nobody else. Third thing is just look at the trends. I mean, if you ever watch commercials, I don't watch a lot of them, but if I see a sporting event and I see commercials during that sporting event, at the end of certain commercials promoting food, they talk about less hormones, no preservatives, this is organic, no GMOs. We are living through times that have never been seen before, where we recognize there is chemicals and harmful ingredients in specific products that moms and dads don't want to feed their kids. This goes to show that people want a more natural environment. So chiropractors are the first in the category of healthcare providers that preach this, that teach this, that subscribe to this least harmful chemicals above all else. It's our time. The other thing though is, when you talk about chemicals, we make up 4.25% of the population in the United States, yet we take 75% of the drugs. If that isn't enough data to support the fact that you are needed, because last I checked, if I go down the street and ask 100 people, hey, how many of you want more drugs and surgery? You ain't finding any. Nobody willingly wants more drugs and surgery. You get this? What about the rankings in 2021 that shows the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical debt? I measured 66 countries that are ranked higher in access and outcomes when it comes to health. 66 countries ranked higher. I didn't even recognize some of the names of the countries. Guys, this isn't something I made up. You look at this stuff, it just starts to stack the deck of why chiropractic, why you as a chiropractor. It is a great time. And the fourth and last thing I want to point out as to why it's a great time to be a chiropractor all goes back to a study that came out of Spine Journal, very reputable journal in 2017. And this article came out was the ADAM study. You can see for yourselves why people sought chiropractic, what they thought of chiropractic, the type of people seeking chiropractic, and many of the results that really came out and blew a lot of the minds of the researchers. It turns out, I'll give you some examples, that those who use a chiropractor were highly educated, in a relationship. It was reported by the majority that chiropractic helped a great deal with their health problems, and their overall health and well-being improved dramatically. 43% of them sought chiropractic for general wellness and disease prevention. 16.3% for improved energy, 15.4% for athletic or sports performance. I've been an Olympic team chiropractor, an NCAA team chiropractor. If you look at the data on sports right now, it's almost unheard of for a high-level athlete to not have chiropractic care. Why wouldn't people want it if they know what it is? And it turns out they do. It showed that 18.1% of them went to chiropractors because medication created side effects. 33.8% said that medical treatment does not work for their specific problem. And an astounding 81.9% of the people in the study said that chiropractic treats the cause, not just the symptom, as a benefit and why they would want to see a chiropractor above all else. Will you think it's a good time to be a chiropractor, or will you think it's a bad time? You are right. What are you paying attention to? What are you framing your profession around? The fact is, you're a chiropractor and you bring massive value. The question is, what type of value do you believe you bring? And what space are you living in your mind regarding the times about being a chiropractor? If you're in my world, if you're a client of mine, I bang the drum over and over again, but I don't just tell you it, I show you why. The evidence is crystal clear. And when you walk into your practice this way, this swagger, I call it a humble swagger, that allows you to take your rightful place in healthcare and be the doctor that I argue you dreamed about being. Because you are just that, you're needed more than ever. And you got one life to live, come on. Like, get after it. You got one life to live. Why not make it big? I will back you up, I will give you the evidence, and more importantly, give you the hope that you need to go to the next level. People need you, your community needs you, this world needs you. It's time to get louder. Let's go for it. Dr. Dan, I'm out.